Oh, I knew you were going to mention the cat lady really quick off the bat.
I
didn't realise it would be in the intro.
Very memorable character.
She's a very memorable character. Does she have 3 boobies?
I think she has 6.
I'm sure. No, not like that. She didn't like that much of it. Do you know what? Is there a time where you go to the Nimbus Paradise City and she's on, but she's had an operation, so she's got a cone on her head?
Yeah, snorting catnip and climbing up the wall.
Yeah, bless. Anyway, Star Trek 5, John. We're on number 5.
We're on 5.
The film that nearly killed the franchise.
Yeah. Yeah, it really did.
So our first movie is the 5th in the Star Trek series, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to say that it's the worst.
But you know what? I really like it.
I love it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I absolutely
same.
love it.
I have such a soft spot for this film. Yeah.
I think it's got one of the best plots.
Also, I think because they're just so comfortable with each other now.
Yes. It's spending time with my favourite crew. That's what I love about it. But obviously, they say...
And I'm so happy that Shatner got his chance, because he
Yes.
was like, well, fucking Nimoy's done 2 now. Come on.
Yeah.
One of the best experiences of my life, telling him to move left and move right. It was about bloody time.
But unfortunately, he did nearly break the franchise, because it was a complete flop.
Any Star Trek 5s?
Ooh, thank you. Great.
Thanks.
Fabulous.
Yes. Oh, thank goodness.
Would you happen to have Star Trek 5?
Yes, sir.
Star Trek 5, The Final Frontier. So tell your dealer you want to see it.
All the effects houses they used to use for Star Trek all were doing Indiana Jones and Ghostbusters.
Yeah, they had to use a completely unknown, and you can really tell, because the Great Barrier is shit.
Yeah, and the little shot of the Klingon stop-motion gun that you keep seeing is pretty bad.
It's so terrible, isn't it?
I don't mind.
Bless him. No, I still don't mind. I don't think it's got the strongest opener. Basically, it's just like Duncan Goodhue just with a fucking pellet gun looking for like making sandcastles. I don't know what's going on.
Duncan Goodhue looking for his prized trunks that he buried while drunk 10 years ago.
Because it basically starts with that, and then a man comes on with a horse and goes, "Let me take away your pain," and you sort of go, "Huh?"
And he gets off the horse, and it's Benny Hill, and he does that on his head.
Because he's got such a head, isn't he?
He has.
And massive gums.
And then he says that this is Nimbus 3, which is, he says, the planet of galactic peace, where weapons are forbidden.
What a shithole for a planet of peace. You'd want it to be all lush and verdant.
You would. Kirk, Spock and McCoy, they're in Yosemite National Park, and Kirk's climbing a rock.
First thing you see is Bones in double denim.
Yes. With a little cravat type thing.
With a little cravat, like he's about to go to San Francisco do some cruising. And he's nervously watching Kirk, who's climbing a mountain in Yosemite with no ropes.
No ropes. And then Spock appears and on his hover boots.
And Kirk does a beautiful double take, like, "Whey!"
But he's
and then says, "You better be careful." Thing is, well, if you didn't distract me, then I wouldn't. And then he falls. Yeah.
Really
down he goes.
Really bad effects when he's falling, but never mind.
It looks like a Peter Pan, like live, but one of the wires has been snapped and they're just dangling in the wrong place.
It's like that trek that went wrong.
Crikey.
Oh, great. Isn't this magical?
But we cut to Paradise City on Nimbus 3.
Paradise City. Took 5 weeks to make, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took 5 weeks to make it. It was 38 degrees.
Oh. That's a strange angle to build it at.
Yeah.
Take me down to Paradise City where the men
hang on, I'll carry on singing. Where the grass is way.
There is no grass and the cat's got a titty.
That's it. I like it when when one of the ambassadors, when the ambassador walks in, someone stands on the cat's tail. And the cat
yes.
goes,
that's right. And we see
she's doing a sexy dance on the bar.
Yeah, and they're all just looking up going, oh.
God, last week, you should have been here last week, she had a cone on her head. So all the ambassadors meet, David Warner's like, God blimey!
And his name's St. John Talbot, which sounds like a Sid James character.
St. John Talbot, yeah. That's very... don't understand. So they all meet, the ambassadors meet.
Yeah, there's David Warner, who's an ambassador from, they call it Terran, don't they? So Earth.
Terran,
I guess.
Earth.
Chris Terran.
Chris Terran, hello.
You got Romulan, who's the lady
Sexy
who walks
Romulan
in,
lady.
sexy Romulan, and a big fat Klingon.
Oh, yeah, he's a goodie, isn't he?
He is, yeah, not Bill
He's a
Oddie.
goodie. No, he's Bill Goody.
Bill Oddie would have been an excellent Klingon, though. Here's the Klingon ambassador.
Well,
who come into a song.
He would have been looking for the Scotty bird, wouldn't he?
He would have been looking for the Scotty bird.
Yeah,
He'd be like, Scotty bird, back, Scotty bird, back, where have you gone? Back.
Curse of Bill Oddie, of course, singing whatever he does. It's terrible. In a chemical toilet. In a chemical toilet. I think Bill Oddie's in that chemical toilet. Getting on train, trying to find a seat. Boo. Shush, please. This is a quiet compartment.
Bill Oddie
I'm
also,
in the quiet compartment. Shut
Bill
up.
Oddie also cursed that everywhere he goes it's in fast motion.
Yeah, he's in slight fast forward.
Yeah. Every time he goes down anyway, like on stairs, or if he falls or he trips, he turns into a dummy and then cuts back to a real person as well. Anyway, the Klingon ambassador, so Sybok and his men then invade.
So he captures them, and they're like, well, you know that as soon as you capture us, then the Federation will probably send a starship. And Sybok's like, that's exactly what I want.
I want to use the toilet.
And I'd like to use the toilet, please. Toilet's currently engaged. Oddie, get out.
Sake. We've got the new Enterprise that they were given at the end of 4. Radio. We then cut to Sulu and Chekov, who are wandering around in the woods for some reason, where they
Get
do
another lovely bit of comedy moment, which isn't very good, but
we're in a blizzard.
It's fine. Yeah, Chekov just goes to convey blizzard.
And
And
goes,
like, it looks like it's wonderful.
Transport.
Are you farting in each other's mouths, you pervs? And they're like, no. And she's like, well, it looks like it's balmy 38 degrees, you fools. And they're like, and then he's like, oh, thank God the sun is out.
And I'm sorry I pulled my cheeks apart to break wind and made that noise.
So she goes, don't worry, fellas, your secret's safe with me. And they're like, well, it's all right, because we've got something on you. We know you're fucking Scotty, so... But now we do cut to the most beautiful campfire scene.
Yes.
Oh, and it's so lovely. They're making the traditional... stew of beans. It's McCoy's
secret
old
recipe.
Family recipe.
I like that Spock says, I have no choice but to sample your beans.
I have no choice but to sample your beans. It's so good.
Out of context,
Also,
sounds awful.
When they try and sing Row Row Your Boat, he's like, because, we're having fun. And he's like, oh, I didn't realise we were trying to have fun. And in the meanwhile, Bones is just like having an embolism of hatred towards Spock.
He said, I liked you more when you were, before you died.
It's like that before he was alive. It's so funny. I think they missed a trick, though, because this would have been an ideal Blazing Saddles moment, where they could have all farted round the fire.
Yeah.
How about some more beans, Mr. Taggart? I'd say you've had enough.
I reckon if Spock farts, it's almost like a delicate trill, like a fart, but it can kill up to 10 mile radius.
Yeah. So a shuttle comes to take Kirk, Spock and McCoy back to the Enterprise.
And you always get the standard Star Trek trope, which is, Jim, you're the closest ship in the quadrant. And he's like, really? Every fucking time we're the closest ship in the quadrant?
And he says, you know the condition of our ship? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. But he says he wants to go to Nimbus 3, assess the situation, and above all else, rescue the hostages. And we see Sybok, and Spock has a haunted face.
Yeah, and even Kirk says, looks like you've seen a ghost.
Yeah. He
says, maybe I have.
So he tells them about who he is. He says he reminds them of someone he knew in his youth, a young student who possessed great intelligence, but rejected the ideas of Vulcan and was ultimately banished.
And was also a fuck machine.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Kirk's got a plan that Chekov's going to pretend to be the captain, and while these lads go in on the ground, and they're going to kind of take a ground offensive. And offensive being the operative word, because they need to distract everybody. So they get Uhura to do a sexy fan dance.
They get Uhura to basically do the Macarena.
And all the men are like, oh, bloody hell.
Carl, look at this pensioner with 2 fronds. However, it gives Uhura something fun to do.
And because this is a William Shatner film, everyone has to ride a horse because he loves riding horses.
Yes, and apparently that's they were all really, really worried about that because it was Shatner that really could only do it. And all the rest of them were like, fucking hell.
Everybody lets them in because they're now dressed like the people they've taken the horses from.
And then Bedlam erupts.
And Kirk fights the cat lady.
Kirk fights the cat lady.
Yeah. How does he kill her, Paul?
He Throws her in the pool.
Throws her in the pool game. And they finally get into the Paradise City, and all the ambassadors pull guns on them.
They've been brainwashed. They've been mind-bothered by Sybok, who can take away their pain.
He wants a starship.
Kirk's face, furious.
Yeah.
Nobody steals Kirk's shit.
So Sybok then begins to brainwash the crew. And I've written here, his costume is like Tron via a Blue Peter appeal. Because it's like a Tron costume, but it's covered in like different coloured bottle tops.
Yeah, it's a bold choice, shall we say.
He's good though, isn't he?
He is really good, yeah. I thought, but thing is, Shatner would have hated it, if they gave Sybok also for Leonard Nimoy to play. Like a sort of twin brother look.
Twin brother thing, yeah, that would be fun.
Or a slightly different look, and do it like that. But
do him with the goatee, the evil Spock look.
Yes, exactly. Something like that, I think, would have been a really brave move. But
a goatee and the hair
Shatner
from the first one when he's doing his religious ceremony. He's got the long
hair. Yeah. Or he's got Uhura's hair. Or whatever.
Sybok does a big message to the ship saying, "We are going to the mystical planet of Sean Connery." Yes. Beyond the Great Barrier, a powerful energy field at the centre of the galaxy. And if we get through there, we will meet our creator.
Wow.
Who has many names.
Yes, many names.
Yeah. They're back in the brig, and we start hearing a tapping on the wall. And
they can't make it out.
This is a primitive form of communication called Morse code.
Again, this is all played for laughs.
Yeah.
They're like STAND, stand, stand back. And then they all look at each other and go, stand back? There's a little explosion, and then you get Scotty going, have you never seen a jailbreak before?
Have you never seen a glory hole before?
Like, no, we haven't.
I thought
Scotty.
you might like to suck on my wheelie.
No, we're fine. We've got things to do.
Scotty, are you all right? No.
No.
Well, somebody has to look after the ship,
Of course. Under the lithium crystals.
Aye, that's true. You have to stroke them every now and then, Keep them warm.
He's I know this place like the back of my hand. And then hits his head.
He knocks himself right out.
Right out.
To the point where when they find him later, he's got a big gash on his forehead.
And he's become like one of those weird brain injuries where he wakes up, but no, he sounds Chinese.
Yes. They had to dub him.
They have to dub him. It's terrible.
He's like, oh, cup and cock.
But of course he doesn't do that. The guys have to crawl up 78 floors of the Enterprise.
But Spock
up a ladder.
Spock thinks, screw this, I'm running off.
I believe I found a faster way.
It's sad though, because as much as I love this bit, once I've noticed the little arm holding Spock's back, I can't unsee it. There's even a shadow of it.
Yeah. It's like the fairground thing where you have to bang with a hammer and you bang it and then the bell goes.
So then they send the distress signal and they speak to someone from Starfleet, but it's not. It's a Klingon lady pretending to be Starfleet.
That's a good coup, isn't it?
It's a good coup.
That's not normal Klingon thinking as well.
Yeah, but she should have done it like the policeman from Hello, Hello, though.
Here comes that English idiot who thinks he can speak our language.
Good morning. Good morning.
We will send a shittle to save you, Captain Keck.
We will send our biggest shop at Warp Factor Food.
I don't know what's going on at Starfleet. It sounds like someone's had a stroke. Sybok walks in.
And goes, look, come on. It's time that you guys saw my way of thinking. Because the whole thing of Sybok is I can take all the pain that you've been like keeping inside you for years, and he sort of plays it out in front of them almost like a hologram or something, isn't it? It's horrible.
It's such a perfect thing as well. If you could have picked something that would haunt a doctor.
And the idea is that his dad is dying, he's in so much pain, and Bones, with every piece of medical knowledge he has, can't keep his father alive. And so he does the most dignified thing, which is to end his pain and give him dignity. Yeah. And so he assists in his own suicide, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And then
you're like, holy shit. And then the kicker is when Simon goes, and then what happened? And he's like, and then a few months later there was a cure, and he could have lived, and wow, what a scene. It is
it's beautifully done.
Lump in throat, beautiful. Then they move to Spock.
Yeah.
Spock, what's your greatest pain? Apparently it's just being born.
Yeah.
And his father just going, ugh.
His dad called him too human.
Too human.
Yeah. Look at the balls on that, he said.
But then Kirk goes, yeah, but hang on. You want to go through the Great Barrier? You don't know what you're doing. I'm the person who knows this shit. And then Sybok grudgingly goes, all right, you pilot me through. You get me through it, and maybe in the course of time you'll change your mind. Because Sybok still is sort of like a sort of pacifist terrorist, isn't he?
Yeah, because he's not...
He's always constantly going, no guns, let's
Yes.
not hurt anyone. He's the guy that, if he was around now, is the guy that's gluing himself to the roads to stop oil and all that. That's Sybok now.
He's gluing himself to Arthur Bostrom.
He's gluing himself to Arthur Bostrom, which he's a... Get oof!
Anyway, so yeah, they get through the Great Barrier, thanks to Kirk.
The wonderful special effects. You're like, oh, guys, that's
we've
so
come
terrible.
along. I mean, it's not even 10 years since the...
It's not, is it? And it is literally like they've dropped coloured dye into water and then just put some electrical effects on the top. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, the planet looks really lovely. It looks like a big blue testy.
Yeah. But they don't even notice that there's a bird of prey in the vicinity again.
No, well, they're all too busy staring at the screen, and that's actually a really lovely shot.
Yeah.
It's everyone on the bridge just staring agog at the planet, and then the camera just very quietly zooms into the bridge, and right at the back you just see a monitor flick on with Klingon ship inbound, but no one's looking at it, and you're like, ooh, that's kind of cool.
It's beautiful. You know in Galaxy Quest when he fights the big rock monster man?
Right. Oh,
that was originally in this film.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's a deleted scene. You can see it. It's really bad.
Yeah.
So that's
well, because apparently it got to the point where the rubber suit was so shit.
Yes.
And they were trying to make it smoulder because it looked like magma. So they literally had guys with tubes blowing cigarette smoke into the costume. And it just looked so shit.
The guy inside died of cancer a year later.
It was bright yellow as well. It was terrible.
They had to put him in an ashtray at the end. Anyway, so they get down there and there's nothing there, and all this stuff grows out of the ground, and then Sybok calls to the god in inverted commas.
Yeah, we're here. We've travelled a great distance.
And he turns up, and you just get this beautiful moment of this being, basically, essentially saying what they want to hear, and then just dropping in out of nowhere. How did you get through the Great Barrier? And then Sybok says, we used the starship. And then he says, basically, can I have the starship?
He's like, move it closer, because I quite... No, he says, can I use my ship to spread my message? And Sybok's like, of course.
Yeah.
Kirk's immediately going...
Brilliant.
What?
Yeah.
And then Kirk immediately goes, I love the way he just goes, excuse me. What does God need with a starship?
It's just brilliant.
That is so brilliant. What does God need with a starship? And then he goes, what sort of creature is you? And then immediately goes, well, you're God. You should know who I am.
Yeah. Don't you know?
Don't you know? So good. Yes.
And that's when Sybok realises the error of his ways. Yeah, they basically mind bothers him into submission.
Mind bothers him, and he's all like screaming. And of course, the crew then take that opportunity to leg it.
Yeah.
And this is the bit where they wanted to use the
rock
monsters, which clearly didn't work. So
rock monster.
Rock monster.
So then Spock, when he's back on the Enterprise, he turns to the Klingon man and says, I need you to do me a favour. And the Klingon man goes, I've been such a fool. Anything you want me to do, I'll do it. And he goes, well, you get your knob out. No. He says, you're the supervising officer of that mad guy in the Bird of Prey.
I need you to contact him. And he's like, well, I don't know about to do that. And then Spock says something to him which is lovely. Damn you, sir, you will try.
Oh, I love it. And the supervising Klingon man gets
the ambassador
warrior,
who was captured. Yeah,
to apologise to him.
That's amazing.
Like a school kid.
He's just like an errant schoolchild being like in front of the headmaster and going, I'm very sorry, sir.
And apologise to Arthur Bostrom.
Apologise to Arthur Bostrom. I'm very sorry, Arthur Bostrom.
Knee problem. He sounds Jamaican now.
He's like, shove it up your oos. And I love this because Kirk goes, I thought I was going to die. Yeah. And he goes to hug Spock. And Spock just goes, please, Captain, not in front of the Klingons.
Star Trekking.